talking now with Package Chris Sharpe, and Chris worked the AWE pay-per-view Night of the Legends as one of your favorite in-ring guys, wearing the stripes. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me. It's a great opportunity to be able to talk to you and all the AWE fans.
Now, let's talk about first sort of the homecoming that this event was for you, the October 15th pay-per-view, somewhat of a homecoming. You grew up in the Richmond area, and you were able to have a lot of family and friends there with you watching us in Fishersville. Talk about that a little bit and what this was like for you to be able to perform in front of your family and friends.
And it was, I don't want to be cliche, but it really was awesome. As a referee, you're not really the featured guy, you know what I mean? People don't come to a show, they don't pay to see the referee, unless it's like the referee's friends or family anyways. I actually moved to Louisville, Kentucky 3 years ago, coming up in January. I decided to join Ohio Valley Wrestling, which Muhammad Akbar, Alex Silva, Tino Levincia, and a couple other guys who have been featured on AWA come from. It's a great opportunity for me out here, but my family never gets to see it. So coming back to Virginia was like, man, this is my first pay-per-view. This is one of the coolest and one of the biggest things I've done. I'm going to be in the ring with like DP, Kevin Nash and stuff, people that my family has actually heard of, and they get to come, they get to buy a ticket, they get to come watch. It was awesome.
So, going back to the start of your own wrestling career, your in-ring career as a referee, what makes you decide to take a leap and attempt a career in wrestling, and then what was it particularly about refereeing that drew you to that part of the sport?
Well, okay, so the part of Virginia I'm from is just outside of Richmond. It's Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually the same part that David Earl Hebner, WWE and TNA referees are from.
Uh-huh.
They went to high school with my grandma, so we were always kind of around them. They stayed close friends and still are to this day. We got to go to all the WWE events. I got to have WWE toys and like magazines and stuff, and like the little action figures and stuff to play with as a kid. So like, I just never grew out of it really, and it wasn't always right away my first thing to want to be a referee. I wanted to be a wrestler. I started wrestling on the indies a little while, and I never really got a whole lot of opportunities. I would manage or wrestle or referee or anything I could to get on any indie show, just based on what the show needed, I guess, or whatever. But once I actually moved to OVW, I kind of saw it as, hey, I need to take this seriously now. If I really want to make it to, WWE or TNA or somewhere big, I'm not a very big guy, you know what I mean? I just didn't see it as very realistic that I would make it very easily. Not that I want to make it easily anyways, but I was like, you know what, I've done refereeing before. I've had a chance to talk with some of the greatest referees of all time and get a little bit of their insight and their knowledge. I'm going to run with this, So when I moved to OVW, I was like, I'll still take the classes as a wrestler. I'll do whatever they would like me to do, but I'm going to try to make it as a ref. And that's what got me noticed with AWE. That's what got me on pay-per-view. So I say I'm on the right track.
We're talking with Package Chris Sharpe, and so how much do you think your training as a wrestler, which I'm thinking is very valuable to you? I mean, folks who don't maybe pay close attention might think, well, you're just in there, you're counting to three, but you're taking bumps, you're in the you're in the heat of the action, and there's so much going on in the ring. I imagine that training as a wrestler and your background in the ring as a wrestler is probably very helpful to you.
And to be honest, I think that even when I started thinking, no, I just want to be a referee, and I started taking the wrestling classes here under Rip Rogers, their bands class at OVW, it's probably the best thing I could have done for myself. If I'm ever in a position where, I'll put it this way, I think if you have two really great wrestlers in a match, but the referee isn't that good, then the match will suffer because of it. But if you have two wrestlers who are pretty new, and they may just be kind of learning the ropes, but you have a really good referee, it can really help the match. And me being able to understand a little bit more than some other referees might about wrestling, and at least the way that we kind of do things here in OVW, I think a lot. It makes me more valuable to the companies, and hopefully it'll make me more valuable and more of a commodity to like a bigger company one day.
There are moments when you need to be in the background, certainly as the guys are doing their thing, but there are times when the referee needs to be front and center. I mean, sometimes the crowd hates your guts, and sometimes they love you if you do the right thing and you see the bad guy doing something really bad. And it's probably a moment by moment thing. I mean, in the ring, you know, your role shifts moment by moment, I imagine.
Yeah, man. I mean, sometimes I'll do an entire television show, and I'll go back and watch it, and there's really not that much as far as I'm concerned to speak of. And then there's sometimes that I'm really given an opportunity. You know, maybe the bad guy's been cheating for a couple weeks, and the crowd's really on him, and they just want to see this guy get told off. And finally, I can be the guy to catch him and throw him out of there and eject him real big, and the crowd just comes alive, and it's very rewarding. Those are the moments that I guess I kind of look forward to the most. But if I'm doing something where I'm featured more like that or not, doesn't matter to me. You know, I understand that it's all about the wrestlers. I just enjoy my role of being able to be in there and be a part of the act and kind of help them out as much as I can with whatever I can do and whatever they need. It's rewarding all the way around.
I'm guessing that being out there for the main event at the AW pay-per-view, I know that eventually Ronnie Garvin came in and worked as a special guest referee, but for the first few minutes of that match, you were out there, Don Dallas Page and Kevin Nash against the Rock and Roll Express. That's probably among your career highlights.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I know that my family was sitting, they had like 4 or 5 seats right near the entranceway. You know, they saw everybody walk on down. I'm sure my mom was like, "That's my little boy," because that's what she does. And got in the ring, Kevin Nash's Big 60s music hits. DDP is out there, Rock and Roll Express, all these people that I grew up watching. It was very cool. It was an awesome opportunity to be in there with, even if only for a couple minutes. It's something that you appreciate. And it's definitely just another experience to learn from and to grow from. If only for a couple minutes I was in there, that's awesome. I got some pay-per-view time with some people, you know, like I was in there with Kevin Nash, and then 2 nights later he's on Monday Night Raw. So it's like that'll make people take notice to AWE, and people who are taking notice to AWE may end up seeing me because of that, or noticing me because of that. Of course, I got replaced a couple minutes in. The company thought it would be a better decision bringing the Hands of Stone. I'm no Hands of Stone. Ronnie Garvin came in, and he was chosen official for what ended up being a singles match between Kevin Nash and Ricky Morton. And that is all cool. That's fine with me. I'm just out there to do whatever AWE needs, and I just appreciated the time I got in there a few minutes.
So you're a young guy. You've been in this business for a few years now. Where do you see this going? I mean, you're going to keep working at this, it sounds like, and just keep plugging away. And, you know, this is your first pay-per-view, but hopefully not your last, certainly.
No, I don't plan for it to be. I guess I've been training. I guess I started training to learn how to wrestle and referee close to maybe 6 or almost 7 years ago now. And it was a couple years before I got to participate in my first match. And I'll keep going as long as I want. It doesn't matter to me if I'm in a major company right now making all kinds of money, because I'm having a blast. I'm having a lot of fun. The people that I get to ride with at AWE and the people that I'm with here in OVW, they're lifelong friends to me now. In the ring, we do what we gotta do, but behind the scenes, man, it's awesome, man. I got a lot of buddies here, and as long as I'm still having fun, still doing what I'm doing, and still plugging away, as long as I know that I'm still making progress to make it somewhere else, you know, maybe AWE can be that top place, you know? If we keep plugging away and we keep putting shows and we keep putting pay-per-views out there and we get some top name talent to bring them in and we keep throwing in young, hungry guys to deliver on the show too, that maybe a guy like Kevin Nash will draw the attention of a fan, but a guy like Jimmy Olivencia will keep it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we can keep doing shows like this, then I'm doing exactly what I set out to do in the first place. It's just to have fun and to be a part of something big, you know, to be the very best I can absolutely be in my role, you know?
Well, we've been talking with Package Chris Sharpe. He's one of the Law and Order guys in AEWE. Chris, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who listened.